Cole Palmer was not only Chelsea's best player last season, but he was also up there with the very best in the league. A few fans believe he deserved to win the PFA Player of the Year, and many others thought he didn't get enough minutes at the Euro 2024. This season, however, is a different story, and some of the biggest names in football are divided with respect to their opinions about Palmer, from the good to the bad and the ugly. Here's what football legends and players think of Cole Palmer. Gary Lineker was one of the people who thought Palmer deserved more game time at the Euros. In his opinion, Palmer remains one of the best English players. Although Lineker did try to go easy on the compliments, here's what he said about Palmer. "We know we've got a lot of talented young players, but this kid, he might well be the best of the lot. I don't know, we shall see. I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I don't think he cares about pressure. Truly, there's a reason fans call him Cold Palmer. It's because he knows how to handle the pressure and the weight of expectations." However, a certain club legend wasn't mincing his words when he sent out a warning to Palmer. William Gallas marshaled the Chelsea defense from 2001 until his controversial exit in 2006. He was an important part of Jose Mourinho's squad that won back-to-back Premier League titles. Gallas was a no-nonsense defender back in the day, and he has been very vocal about his opinions on Chelsea. Speaking to Genting Casino, Gallas said, "I'm looking at the squad of players and I don't see nearly enough quality. There are so many players in the squad that don't have the quality to play for Chelsea. I look at some of these guys and there's no way they would get into the best Chelsea teams from the last few years. Half of them wouldn't even get on the bench of the best Chelsea teams. These players aren't good enough to win a Premier League title, and that should always be the aim of a club like Chelsea. Are they good enough to qualify for the Champions League? We will find out this season, but I have serious doubts." Gallas then went on to point fingers at the club's new ownership and how they've handled the club so far. However, the former Blues star switched focus to Palmer when speaking to Prime Casino. Gallas talked about the importance of making sacrifices for Palmer to replicate the results of last season. According to Gallas, if Palmer wants to be the best like CR7 and Messi, he needs to put in the work. Here's a snippet of what he requires from Palmer. "You must live your life like a monk. You must be happy knowing that you're going to have 3 weeks in the year to switch off. And then you have to work even harder than the year before. It's not easy to do that. Not many players have the mental resources to deliver that kind of commitment. I want to see what Palmer does this season. We know he's a cool guy, but after a season like last year, his teammates are looking at him to make the difference. The fans are expecting him to make a difference. There is a bit more extra pressure on him this year, but without doubt, he's the best young player in the Premier League." Gallas thinks Palmer is very unique, especially for an English player. But how about this next guy? Garth Krooks was the first black chairman of the PFA. He played for Spurs, Manchester United, Stoke City, and West Brom from the late 70s to the 90s. Now a pundit, Krooks has compared Palmer to Glenn Hoddle. I've been very reluctant to say this as I don't want to put any more pressure on the lad than already exists, but I think Cole Palmer is the best talent this country has produced since Glenn Hoddle. Krooks, who is a well-respected figure in football analysis, thinks that Palmer's precise passing and strategic play is an ability that can only be compared to Glenn Hoddle. But on top of that, Palmer's versatility at operating either centrally or on the wings makes him a special talent to watch because he could provide the team with a lot of tactical options. Former Manchester City defender Julian Lescott thinks that if Palmer can maintain his level from last season, he'll go down as one of the greatest players ever. For Lescott, he wants the midfielder to maintain his level, nothing more. Here's what he says.
How much further has he still got to go? Like, how good can he be?
It could be anything, but that's the thing I would say about a lot of players in terms of like when people say, "Oh, Phil, if he only stays where he's at now for the next 10 years, he's going to be one of the greatest players. He doesn't have to do any more. Maintain the level. Same as Phil Foden. Don't come next season and think Cole Palmer's going to get 25 goals or he has to get 25 goals to be progressing. No, progressing might mean he's reached his peak early. Now stay there. That's his high performance in terms of he doesn't have to go, "Oh, it's another goal involved." No, this might be it. Can you stay there?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between.
But if you ask Gra Sunis, who is known for his hot takes in football, you might be surprised about what he had to say about Palmer just a couple of months ago. Here, take a listen.
Do you think he's a good buy for Chelsea, Cole Palmer?
I think he's
Chelsea as is, not Chelsea as will be.
See, you want players like him to come into teams that are doing well, playing with their tails up, playing with confidence, and you're dropping them in and out. He's been asked as a kid with no experience of the Premier League to come in and be a main man. It's a hell of an ask. But the guy's got qualities that very few people have. And there's nothing to dislike about him, because he looks to have a fabulous work rate. He's certainly not frightened. He's silky on the ball, sees a pass, can score a goal.
That's a lot of praise from someone like Sunis, isn't it? He's been one of the more difficult legends to please, but he was blown away by Palmer's results last season. However, Sunis believes that Guardiola sold Palmer because he simply didn't see Palmer becoming one of the best players in the world. But let's hear from Pep himself. At the end of last season, Guardiola expressed some regrets for letting Palmer go, but he said he wasn't surprised at what Palmer could do, and that he's happy for him. Pep later did mention that he actually tried to keep Palmer. English former goalkeeper David James believes that you can't really fault Pep Guardiola for selling Cole Palmer simply because Man City won the Premier League title last season. According to James, Guardiola did the right thing and was just as eager to see Palmer become successful. I don't think Pep could give him the assurances that he wanted in terms of his playing time, and he didn't quite fit into the City setup, so he was allowed to leave. Pep did the right thing by allowing him to go, because his absence just had no impact on City's ability to win trophies, says James. Not long after making the switch to Chelsea, many fans felt that Palmer was the main reason why former Chelsea coach Pochettino kept his job going for that long. Pochettino never shied away from praising Palmer last season, but he always thought that it was a problem that people referred to the Blues as Cole Palmer FC. Pochettino had ambitions to prove that the club was much more than just Palmer, but didn't get the time to do so, unfortunately. You see, when Chelsea completed the £42.5 million deal for Palmer last summer, many eyebrows were raised because he was an unproven talent at Man City, but the Englishman ended up being the standout player in what was a rather disappointing overall season for the Blues. Despite Palmer's 26 goals and 15 assists from last season, he has found this season a bit more challenging so far, with only 1 goal and 4 assists, which isn't too bad of a stat at the time of this recording. Chelsea's current coach, Enzo Maresca, wants the 22-year-old to start getting used to having a target on his back. Palmer has been getting fouled a lot, but Maresca thinks that it's normal to have such hostile treatment from defenders. With Chelsea not exactly having the best start to a season, Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher has made a rather shocking prediction that the PFA Young Player of the Year might just jump ship if the Blues continue to struggle this season. Speaking on the overlap last month, Carragher said, "Some things just come to me here. If Chelsea have another poor season, Palmer is a big Man United fan, isn't he? Would that not be something that United should visit maybe in 12 months if it doesn't go well? You know what? I think that could happen. Yeah, Cole Palmer to Man United." Paul Merson, a former Arsenal forward and Sky Sports pundit, thinks so too. Merson believes that both Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson are not going to see out the entire duration of their 9-year contracts because of sizable offers from rival clubs that may throw a spanner into the works. Here's what Merson says: if Palmer becomes unbelievable and just keeps on doing what he's doing, then he will be a £100 million player. They will sell him for £100 million. That's just how it works. They don't want all these players to run their contracts out. You know, that is definitely an interesting point to take into account when considering all of this regarding Cole Palmer's future. But now over to you guys. Do you think someone like Manchester United will target Cole Palmer for a possible return to his Northwest roots in the near possible future? And also, what do you guys think it is that Cole Palmer needs in order to be able to replicate his amazing form from last season in the upcoming season and future seasons ahead?